What is going on, everybody? In today's video, I'm going to be talking about the Colts and my first of many Colts videos coming in the next few weeks. Just joking, guys. Chill out, Jaguar fans. Don't be freaking out throwing dislikes on this video. What I'm going to be doing this offseason and in the next few weeks is essentially reviewing every AFC South team from what they did in 2018, what they did this offseason, and doing an outlook for them in 2019. And while I pretty much hate every AFC South team not named the Jaguars, I am not going to be bashing these teams. I'm going to be looking at them all from an objective standpoint and really seeing where they sit. So in the first of these three upcoming videos, we're going to be reviewing the Indianapolis Colts. Now, when you look at the Colts, they had a very good 2018 season. They went 10-6, went into the playoffs with a wild card spot, and went 1-1 in the playoffs before falling to the Chiefs. But it wasn't all sunshines and rainbows with the Indianapolis Colts. And let's date this back to the 2017 NFL season, where the team went 4-12. And in the offseason, they wound up canning their head coach, Chuck Pagano, and they went out to look for a new head coach. And in that head coach, they initially hired Josh McDaniels, and they had him pretty much in the waiting seat for a while as they were kind of waiting for him to finish off the Super Bowl before he came over to the Indianapolis Colts. And the Indianapolis Colts finally announced him as a head coach, and they had a press conference in place. However, just a few hours after that, Josh McDaniels decided that he wanted out. He was no longer going to be the Indianapolis Colts, and he was going to go back to the Patriots to suck on Bill Belichick's nipples just a little bit longer. So while they were off, they had to really revamp their whole entire coaching search. They wound up hiring head coach Frank Reich, the former offensive coordinator for the Philadelphia Eagles, and there was a lot of questions behind this hire. Was he really the right guy? Obviously, he didn't get a head coaching gig in the offseason after that Super Bowl run, and that was primarily due to the fact that he wasn't calling plays for the Philadelphia Eagles, and he had never called plays before. It was actually Doug Peterson doing that while he was the OC there. So really, how much of an influence did he have in a whole entire Super Bowl run? And when you look at the Colts in 2019, they look like the same old Colts from the couple years before. You know, they started out the season 1-5, which is not good. That put them right at the basement of the NFL. But it's not how you start, it's how you end the season. The final 10 games, they went on a record. They had a record of 9-1, with that one loss falling to the Jacksonville Jaguars by a score of 6-0. You guys all can't think that I was going to go out throughout this whole entire video without throwing that one out there. But they finished out the season 9-1, earning them, really bidding them for the final game of the season, Week 17, a win and move on to the playoffs, a game against the Tennessee Titans. And they wound up beating a Marcus Mariota-led Tennessee Titans. Oh, wait, they didn't, because Marcus Mariota, we all know, can't stay healthy. And they wound up beating Blaine Gabbert in the final game of the season, and they advanced to the playoffs. And in that playoff game, they actually wound up matching up against AFC South champion, the Houston Texans, and they won that game in NRG Stadium, and they advanced to play the Chiefs, and they lost to the Chiefs by a pretty embarrassing game, a score of 31-13. But they wound up having a good year. And why exactly were the Colts successful in 2019? The big thing was the return of Andrew Luck, Captain Andrew, whatever you want to call him. He obviously sat out the whole entire 2017 season due to that neck shoulder injury that he was running around Europe getting different treatments on. And there were a lot of skeptics behind how good he was going to be when he returned, including me. I didn't think that he would be nearly as good a form that he had been in years past, but he had a terrific season, throwing for 4,500 yards, 67% completion percentage, 39 touchdowns versus 15 interceptions. So Andrew Luck was back, and he was as good as ever. And he wound up earning a Pro Bowl spot. So just incredible season by Andrew Luck. And as long as Andrew Luck is a quarterback of the Indianapolis Colts, they're going to be good. And another thing that really helped them out was a 2018 NFL draft. Now, the Indianapolis Colts had a third overall pick in that draft, but a quarterback-hungry New York Jets wound up trading up 3 spots with them. So the Colts wound up trading from number 3 back to number 6, and they landed the guy who they would have picked at number 3 anyway, which is Quentin Nelson. And Quentin Nelson turned out to be everything that he was advertised. He turned out to be an all-pro, Pro Bowl caliber player, and really one of the top guards of the NFL as he yells before blocking anybody that he does. So he had a terrific season. And in that trade, the Colts gained 2 second-round picks in 2018 and 1 2019 second-round pick. So to trade back 3 spots, they wound up gaining 3 second-round picks, which is absolutely clutch. And you also look at another guy that they drafted with one of the Jets picks, and that was guard Braden Smith, who actually wound up transitioning to right tackle for the Colts. He had a great year. Just the whole entire Colts offensive line, it's got to be the best unit in the NFL. They allowed the fewest sacks in the NFL, which is a big reason why Andrew Luck had gotten injured years before, is that they were not investing in offensive linemen. Former GM Ryan Grigson was more about trying to get Philip Dorsett with a first-round pick, trading first-round picks for Trent Richardson, but really the foundation of an offense is in that offensive line. And, you look around, left tackle Anthony Costanzo had his best year of his career. Center Ryan Kelly, a former first-round pick, is also very good. And right guard Mark Glowinski, I should say, he's also a terrific player. So really their whole entire offensive line was really good. And another pick that the Colts had in the 2018 NFL draft was Darius Leonard. Darius Leonard turned out to be an all-pro linebacker who they got from South Carolina State, and he wound up being just a terrific player. He turned into a Pro Bowl player, all-pro player also, as he's good at both rushing the passer and playing in coverage. So they nailed the 2018 draft, solidifying their offensive line and getting an all-pro linebacker. And those were some of the big reasons why the Colts turned around the 2018 season and wound up making a playoff run. Now, let's look at what they did this offseason. In 2019 free agency, they had the most cap room of any NFL team, but they really didn't go out and spend much. When you're a team with a good roster, the goal is to be able to re-sign players on your own team as opposed to signing players from other teams, and that's exactly what they did. They re-signed 6 of their own players, including guys like Mark Glowinski and Clayton Geathers. And you also look at what they did when it comes to trying to find free agents from other teams. They waited a few days. They waited for the big money free agents to go to their respective teams, like Le'Veon Bell being pulled to the Jets, the Jaguars snagging Nick Foles. Really the high-priced free agency guys to go and for the waters to kind of weather. And they wound up getting some good value with some guys like Justin Houston, inking him to a 2-year, $24 million deal, and he's still a great player. Signing 1-year, $1 million deals to guys like Spencer Ware. Spencer Ware earned a 1-year, $1.3 million deal, another player coming from the Chiefs. And they also signed Devin Funchess to a 1-year, $10 million deal from the Carolina Panthers. So really they didn't go out and spend crazy money like a lot of these teams like the Browns and Jets did. They went out and they were conservative with their money, which is setting themselves up for a great position in the 2020 free agency where they can really go out and get whoever the hell they want. Now, in 2019, we look at their draft. What did they do in a draft? Now, with their first round pick, they wound up moving back, and I didn't think they got as good a value moving back in this year's draft as last year's draft. This year they moved from the 26th pick back to the 46th pick, so they moved back 20 spots, and they gained a 2019 second-round pick and a 2020 second-round pick from the Redskins, and the Redskins used that pick to draft defensive end Montez Sweat out of Mississippi State. So, last year they moved from 3 to 6 and get 3 second-round picks. This year they moved from 26 to 46 and gained 2 second-round picks. I don't really like that all that much. I like to keep your first-round picks and be able to get that 5th-year option on them, but they decided to do this to really pick up some more picks. Now, the first pick that they had was a 34th pick So that wound up being, I think, the second pick in a second round. And with that pick, they selected Rock Ya-Sin, cornerback out of Temple. And me being an AAC guy, a UCF guy, Temple is in the same side of the division as UCF. So I am very familiar with Rock Ya-Sin. They got a player not only with a great name, but also a great skill set. So he's going to help out with the secondary. And also with the 59th pick, they got a good player in Paris Campbell, who they're really looking for a more big play wide receivers as opposed to only having T.Y. Hilton. The Colts are a team that usually always has that good number one receiver. They transition nicely from Marvin Harrison to Reggie Wayne to T.Y. Hilton, but they are looking for that guy to be the next number one wide receiver, and Paris Campbell has all of those traits, former Ohio State wide receiver. So the Indianapolis Colts finished the 2019 NFL draft with 10 total selections. So they wound up getting a lot of different players, obviously. Now, with that, the Colts are currently have the most cap space in the NFL with $57 million available. That is $16 million more than the second highest team, who is the Houston Texans, so another AFC South team. And they're really poised to make a big run in 2020 of free agents when guys like DeJavius Clowney, Bobby Wagner, and Amari Cooper will all be set to hit free agency. So they're looking nicely going forward. Now, when you look at the outlook of the Colts in 2019, some of the concerns that I have is really the lack of a premier running back. Now, Marlon Mack last year, he wound up eclipsing about 1,100 yards last year, which is obviously good. But can you imagine the Colts with that offensive line, with a quarterback like Andrew Luck, who is going to make linebackers drop back in coverage and really worry about the passing threat? Can you imagine that they had a great premier running back like a Saquon Barkley or Todd Gurley? That would make them just that much better. But Marlon Mack, he's obviously a pretty good player going to his third year out of USF. But, man, if they really had a premier running back, that would really set themselves up. Some other running backs that they have include Spencer Ware and Jordan Wilkins. But really I feel like they really lack a true elite running back, and that would really set this team over the top. Some other things is really the run defense. The run defense got exposed against the Chiefs, and you also wonder if some replacement, they really didn't get any great interior defensive linemen to really be a running clog. Do they do enough at linebacker to be able to support and run defense? The run defense definitely does concern me. And also Andrew Luck's health. Now, with the Indianapolis Colts, one thing that we've learned over the last 20 plus years is that if Andrew Luck or Peyton Manning is not the quarterback of this team, they generally suck. That's just the flat way to put it. They're drafting the top 5 of the draft if those guys aren't quarterbacking their team. So if Andrew Luck goes down, are they going to revert back to the 4-12, 3-13 Indianapolis Colts? You never know. Most likely they will, but you never know. Now, some bright spots of this team. Like I said, Andrew Luck. As long as Andrew Luck is the quarterback of the team, they're going to be a force to reckon with. Andrew Luck is an elite quarterback, top 5 probably quarterback in the NFL. So he's always going to be a guy to look out for. Another bright spot is that they have the best offensive line in the NFL. Now, let's see if they can stay healthy. The Jaguars, for example, last year, they probably had a top 5, top 10 unit. At least in 2017, they had a top 5, top 10 unit as they led the NFL in rushing yards. However, your left tackle goes down second week. Brandon Linder, Andrew Norwell all go down in the first half of the season. Then the running game goes away and the pass protection goes away. So the offensive line needs to stay healthy. And if they do, it's a top unit in the NFL. And also, another good thing is the young nucleus. Like I said earlier, you've got guys like Quentin Nelson, Darius Leonard, also Braden Smith. You have guys like Malik Hooker going into their third year as a pro. And they've got a lot of good young talent on this team. And that young nucleus is only going to get older. And, that's definitely a bright spot of this team. Now, when you look at the Indianapolis Colts, they are probably a force to they're probably the top team in the AFC South right now. I haven't looked at the Vegas odds, but I'd guess that they're the betting favorite to win the AFC South currently, and with good reason. So, Indianapolis Colts are going to be a tough team to take down. Obviously, I think they were the best team in the AFC South last year after they took down the Houston Texans in the playoffs in the Texans Stadium. So you never know. It's going to be a funky year. You know, the AFC South has had 4 different playoff teams in the last 2 years. So we'll see how it goes. So thank you guys all so much for watching my video. Definitely be sure to drop a like, leave a comment down below of how you guys think my review of the Indianapolis Colts was. And thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in my next video.